Hello and welcome to this week's 2-Minute Parsha. Last week in Parshat Vayeshev we learned how Yaakov left Lavan's house and he travelled back home towards Eretz Yisrael. And this week, Parshat Vayeshev, we begin with Yosef, Yaakov's favourite son, and his not so good relationship with the rest of his brothers. Yosef, the Torah tells us, has two dreams, and he relates them to his brothers. His first dream is about a bunch of bundles, his brother's bundles bowing down to his bundle, and the second is about the sun, the moon, and 11 stars bowing down to him. When he repeats them to his brothers, they're unhappy, and it just increases their jealousy towards them. One day, the Torah tells us that Yaakov sends Yosef to go and check on his brothers who are out shepherding in the field. On his way, he gets lost. He meets this man who tells him where to go and where his brothers are. The brothers see him coming from far and they want to kill him, but on Reuven, the oldest brother's behest, they agree just to throw him in the pit and to spare his life. Reuven then takes leave, and the rest of the brothers see that there is this Ishmaelite group of travelers heading down to Egypt, and so they decide to sell Yosef to them for 20 pieces of silver. When Reuven returns and he sees Yosef not in the pit, and what has happened? He was distraught, he was so upset, he says, "Where should I go? What should I do?" The brothers then took Yosef's coat, they dipped it in blood, and they brought it over to Yaakov, leaving him to believe that Yosef had been killed by a wild animal. Nothing anybody could do or say could lift Yaakov out of his mourning and can raise his spirits. Meanwhile, Yosef has been taken to the house of Potiphar. He was sold as a slave in the house of Potiphar, a minister in the house of Parai. The Torah interjects with the story of Yehuda and Tamar. In short, Tamar married Yehuda's oldest son, Er, and then he dies. She then marries the second son, Onan, and he also dies. So Yehuda tells her to wait for the youngest son, Shelah, to get older. But time passes by, and it doesn't seem that Yehuda is keeping his promise. So Tamar tricks Yehuda, and she provokes him into having relations with her unknowingly. She then becomes pregnant with his child, and so he sentences her to death for becoming pregnant. On her way to being put to death, she produces the evidence that the child is his, the child is from Yehuda. So Yehuda says she is right, and he admits fault, and he exonerates her. She then gives birth to twins, Peretz and Zorach. Back to Yosef in the house of Potiphar. He's very successful, but he's having a hard time staving away his master's wife's advances on him. Eventually, she gets upset with him pushing her away the whole time, so she libels on him that he had taken to her. Yosef is thrown into jail for these crimes. In jail, Yosef is again very successful, and one day two new arrivals in jail, the ex-cupbearer and the ex-baker of the king of Parai, tell him their dreams that they had the night before, which was worrying them. Both dreams, Yosef interprets them accurately, and in return, the cupbearer, the butler, who was going to be reinstated as per the dream into his former role, in his former position by the king, Yosef asks him to mention his plight to the Parai. As Yosef had predicted, 3 days later, the butler was reinstated and the baker was hung. But the cupbearer did not keep his part of the deal, and he forgot to mention Yosef. In summary, in this week's Parsha we had Yosef's dreams, we had Yosef's sale, the story of Yehuda and Tamar, Yosef and the wife of Potiphar leading to him put in jail, and his reputation as a dream interpreter in jail. Good Shabbos.